Welcome once again, Mbangwa Media, and just catching you up on what's happened in week number 4 of this Cricket World Cup, and it's been fascinating. Where to start? I suppose that's the question. Where exactly do we start? And the Afghanistan story continues. I think that's the biggest thing of the tournament so far. Yes, there's the expectation that India would go well, and they continue to go well. South Africa and them just can't stop winning, and that's fantastic. As I do this, actually, those two teams play against each other, so that's going to determine for sure who will be first and probably who will be second. I say probably because whoever loses that has another game to go and must ensure that they win that one if the other results go that way, and kind of, need to end up being second. You'd say they probably wouldn't finish below third, and that doesn't matter. If you're second or you're third, it doesn't really matter because second plays third in the semi-final. But yeah, Afghanistan, after they beat England, many went along the lines of they've kind of achieved and they've reached their Everest, and is that going to be a moment of celebration, and then it would be too difficult to come down from that high to then motivate themselves once again to get going, get back on the horse, so to speak, and go again and put together a game. They've done better than that. They've done much better than that. Beat Pakistan, no trouble. Beat Sri Lanka, no trouble. Beat the Netherlands, no trouble. Looking very much like a team that is on song. Now, with a couple of games to go and already 8 points in the bag, this is, it's not beyond the realms of possibility that they win their next 2 games. And those 2 games are against Australia and against South Africa, yes. But it doesn't seem to matter who they're playing, Afghanistan. They've shown themselves to be quite calculating and calculated and calm under pressure in terms of trying to chase scores down. So it's not as if now teams can say we go this way or that way, and that stymies them or kind of ensures that they have greater difficulty in putting the game together and winning. It doesn't matter which way you go, unless the elements, as in a whole lot of dew, then it's difficult for the spinners to grip the ball and so forth. But yeah, their perceived problem of chasing, not an issue whatsoever, and setting a score, they're quite happy to do that as well. One to watch. Wouldn't it be a fascinating story if they made it to the semi-final? Anyway, more about that a bit later. For now, I think in this week, looking back at week number 4, and one is to celebrate those Afghanistan players in the way that they've played, the senior players batting particularly well, and ensuring that they stay calm getting the side over the line. Then over to Australia, well and truly back in the tournament. Haven't looked back since that victory in Bangalore, where it was emphatic. The one before was good as well, but in Bangalore they beat Pakistan and beat them convincingly, scored big total, had nice big partnership, and then have just continued in the same vein. Yes, a bit of a scare against the New Zealanders up in Dharamshala, but they're looking good and they're looking back on it. It would have given them the greatest satisfaction to knock out England. And that too after some words had been said in the media. So the old foe now got an E next to their name, courtesy of the beating that they tape from Australia. Oh, that's, for Australians, that's poetic as far as they're concerned. They'll be very happy with that. And I guess that kind of leads us to England, who have had a forgettable tournament, coming in as defending champions and now eliminated from the tournament along with Bangladesh. For both those teams, now it's very much a question of, one, play for pride. Not to say that you don't play for pride before, but you don't want to finish right at the bottom. And number two, there's quite possibly going to be in 2025 a tournament that doesn't have England and don't know which it's going to be, and Bangladesh. Both those sides are not going to be there. You have to finish in the top 8, and potentially they won't. And so they won't be at the Champions Trophy in 2025. Who would have thought, eh? These white ball giants, having won the T20 World Cup just recently and the 50 over one previously. So, yeah, finish on a high, so to speak, is what they seek, and whether they can or they won't, I don't know. There's the unlucky side. Many people say New Zealand is everybody, or many people's second team. When they say that, they're talking about supporting the team. They're talking about that you have your team, and then you'll have New Zealand as the other side. You don't mind them winning. You don't mind them being in the semi-final, which they nearly always are in, right? I don't know if that needs a different meaning, kind of different interpretation. That kind of always coming second when it comes down to it, which is a great pity. I felt for them when they tried to chase, 388. They tried to chase that down to win against Australia, and then didn't quite get there. Too many similarities as well between that game and the game against England for the 2019 final. But then to score 401 they got in Bangalore, and lost. That's just unthinkable. Only other time, as would have been written in the media a whole lot, is the 4-3-4 by Australia in Johannesburg way back then, ahead of its time actually, and chased down by South Africa. This was, with the help of DLS. I'll say that it doesn't help batting first sides, the rain and the adjustment makes it too difficult, and the very fact that the game is then curtailed essentially means you need a good start, and if you've got a good start and wickets in hand and the rain comes down, it's more often than not going to be in your favor. That said, 401, that is a lot. So it needed a special effort. And that Fakhar Zaman, man, he'd been out of touch, remember? Sat on the sideline, came back in with a half century, and then with a monster century to make sure that they win that one against New Zealand. How about it? Pakistan kind of always putting themselves in a position where, you know what, we ain't done yet. That's what they seem to keep saying, and you never know. You never know whether they're going to get there or not. The question is, can New Zealand sort themselves out? Because this race for the 4th spot is now particularly important. Who's going to make it? I don't know. South Africa and India already in. Okay, so that's done. Whose is the 3rd and the 4th spot? It looks like it'll be Australia for one of those spots. And then, I say it looks like it's going to be Australia. I'm not discounting Afghanistan. I don't know. It looks like it'll be Australia. They're playing decently. They look like they'll be okay. But really, I should be saying who should be third and fourth spot, because Afghanistan have it all to themselves to do. 2 games to go, win both, end on 12, and happy days. They're fine. They'll have a Q next to their name. But will they get those 2 games? Those 2 games are against Australia and against South Africa. What's going to happen? Can they beat Australia? Of course they can. They can beat anyone. Can they beat South Africa? Of course they can. They can beat anyone. Which one will they beat? Will they beat any of them? Don't know. So, if Australia win that, happy days they're in. If they don't, and New Zealand. What about New Zealand? They've got to play against Sri Lanka, who also mathematically are not out of it, and Netherlands aren't either. But the maths, too much. Just too much to do for both of those sides. By the way, throw in that there is the necessity for points for both Sri Lanka and for the Netherlands. Why? Because you want to finish in the top 8. You want to be at the Champions Trophy. And in order to do that, you've got to win that last game so that you can have those points, of course, and stay above England and again above Bangladesh. Lots to play for as we go into the final week of the playoffs. It's all fascinating. Really is fascinating. What's left is for me to talk about who is the star of the week. And 3 contenders really in my head. All batters. I know there's some good bowling performances, but really big impact by these batters in terms of how things have gone and the way he continues to impress one and all. Rachin Ravindra, a 3rd century in World Cups. It's his first World Cup. He's 23. He's played so well. He's not my star of the week though. Fakhar Zaman, monumental effort. Big 100 and at the right pace to keep them ahead on Duckworth Lewis Stern, and so means that they win over New Zealand, chasing a mammoth total. Fantastic. I would go though with Quinton de Kock, 4th century in World Cups. He's been a mainstay for South Africa at the top of the order, and that 100 against New Zealand meant also that they kind of had sealed qualification. It didn't happen straight away. Another result had to come in order for them to have sealed it. But he's been really good at the top of the order. And in a time where he's said that he's retiring from the format, he's really staking a claim. And as he said somewhere along the line, he said, I really wouldn't mind getting no runs as long as we win the whole thing. They're in the running. They're in that semi-final. Quinton de Kock, the star of the week right here on Baumer Media. Right? That's it. You need to tell me who you think your final 4 are going to be. By the way, the 2 that are in, India and South Africa, I predicted those 2. I also said England might be there. I don't think so. Well, they can't be. They're eliminated. The other one I had chosen was Pakistan. Woo! I don't know that they can make it. They can, but will they? Looking forward to hearing from you. Cheers for now.